This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Get a little farther into yesterday's playoff games and the upcoming national championship game with the king of college football talk, Bill King, Nashville Sports Radio, morning host 6 to 9. And Bill, Happy New Year. How you feeling after staying up late last night? Those were invigorating games to watch.
Oh, I feel great, man. If you're going to lose sleep, that's the way to do it.
No kidding. No kidding. Who's losing more sleep after yesterday, though? Is it the losing fans of Alabama and Texas? Which of these two teams do you feel might have had a better shot if they were able to find a way to move on?
Alabama fans are spoiled for obvious reasons. I don't know, maybe because at the 4-minute mark, you've got a touchdown lead, and you feel like this is Alabama. Historically, there's no better team than Alabama on average. They're going to finish this thing out and go on to the championship. Maybe, and I know Bama fans a little bit better than I know Texas fans.
Was there anything yesterday that surprised you? You know, I mean, so people say they're surprised to see that Washington can withstand the physicality that you saw yesterday, but they did the same thing against Oregon. I wonder if there was anything that surprised you about what you saw from either of the two playoff games yesterday.
I didn't think that Michigan athletically would be equal to Alabama. And Alabama's down in athletes offensively, but I still thought that Alabama athletically would have a bigger advantage. And I know most of the first half, I was probably a little surprised, even though Michigan is certainly built on physicality, that they were winning both sides of the line of scrimmage at that time. I think that one caught me a little off. I picked Alabama. I thought Alabama would win that game. So that probably was what surprised me. What didn't surprise me is I think I had both those games pegged stylistically. I thought that Alabama would win 24-21, so the total was about right. And I thought that Texas game, UW game, would be in the 30s. Stylistically, those games were exactly what I thought, but the outcome in the Alabama game was not.
Yeah, there's no excuses, Bill, for Alabama. I was surprised that they had 5-6 the quarterback center exchange this late in the year. That can't be an issue where that's right. Costing you plays. And then I thought it was a welcome to the world for people that maybe not have seen Michael Penix Jr. and that group of receivers and that running back and just the talent they had out there. And I don't know, Bill, the last, if you just look back the last 3, 4, 5 years that I've seen a quarterback take over a football game like Michael did last night. As far as the game in the playoffs.
Yeah. Out of Tampa, guys, he was committed to Tennessee. Tennessee got rid of Butch Jones, who had him committed. Jeremy Pruitt's crew comes in, and they tell Penix they don't think he can play for him. But, yeah, he's a heck of a player. He's had 2 bad injuries. He's recovered from that. He transferred from IU, followed Coach DeBoer out there, and it's been a wonderful situation.
Kalen DeBoer versus Jim Harbaugh in the national championship game. Do you give an edge to either of these teams because of who's coaching them?
I'd probably give an edge to UW with the athletes, but the only thing, Harbaugh's got more enemies than anybody and doesn't care, obviously, about who doesn't like him. But considering that the haters all made it sound like the only reason they had success was because of stealing signs and signals and cheating, which I never bought into that ferociously like the critics out there, I could see him out the door winning it, heading to the NFL with a giant bleep you to everybody. I really could.
Is nobody's given Washington much a chance, and you just talked about how physical Michigan is, and was against Alabama. And I thought, but Florida State, I thought they had a really good front seven. I thought Michigan, probably the best front seven this year in college football. Is if Washington's running back can't go, how do you kind of see this one going, Washington and Michigan?
This will be the best group of receivers they've seen. Ohio State hadn't been full health for a while. Now Marvin Harrison Jr., when he was playing before he opted out. But the depth at Ohio State's never been right with all the injuries and the issues they've had. This will be the best quarterback, receiver, running back combination that they've seen. And it's going to take more points than it took in the Alabama game. And Michigan's favored. Now, guys, I looked this morning. I haven't looked today if that line's moved around, but it was around 4.5. I think athletically Washington can do some damage here.
I think it's still at 4.5. We just looked in the last commercial break, still at 4.5. But I wonder about. Do you think that changes if I wonder about if Dylan Johnson is available, or even if he's anywhere close to 100%. That's why I look at Washington without him, or even with him, and they might be not a one-trick pony, but. Man, I mean, they're a little more balanced, but without Johnson or even not at 100%, I wonder how balanced they can be. And, man, I know Washington is so good at protecting the quarterback, but when and Alabama had some troubles all throughout the season. So, I mean, that to me is really key. If they can keep Penix upright, because Michigan's coming after him.
Michigan is a very tough guy, led from the top, Coach Harbaugh team. A very tough guy team, and they'll fight you in an alley. They'll fight you on the streets, parking lot, wherever you want to fight. It's a tough guy team, and something's got to give in this game. The storyline, guys, not that that's necessarily the dictator of an outcome, but the storyline favors Michigan.
I know what you're saying with the athletes Washington has and that front seven, and Washington should be able to hang with them. I do want to get your thoughts on KJ Jefferson, Arkansas's quarterback the last few years, record-setting guy, is going down to Orlando to play with Gus, and I looked at what their quarterbacks had last year, and I want to say it's around. They had two guys going around 3,200 yards, and 600 yards rushing is kind of what their quarterback is, and I think KJ could put up real similar numbers to that.
Yeah, John Rhys Plumlee, former Ole Miss football and baseball player, down there quarterbacking and very good athlete. I remember John Rhys Plumlee as a true freshman playing that 19 LSU team. That was so good, and he ran for like 250. He looked like you out there. He ran for 250 yards in that ball game, and of course never got the quarterback job full time. But yes, I think that's a good fit. I think going down there with Gus, good friend of mine, Herb Hand is the offensive line coach down there. I know they're excited about it. I think that might well work. I do.
Nico Iamaleava had a really nice debut. He looks. I mean, it's one game, so you can't necessarily just go off of that, but that's definitely going to boost Tennessee fans' ego going into this next season, because he looked like the real deal.
He has everything that you could draw up to be a superstar. He's 6'6". He's got a gorgeous arm. He's athletic for a guy that long, like Matt Jones. Can flat out run. He's twitchy, too, for a guy that long. And he looked like he was in command. The only thing he needs to learn is he had to eat the ball too many times. And that'll come, Matt will tell you, with reps. He ate the ball too many times. He didn't get rid of the ball. But he didn't fumble either doing that. That's the good part. And once that comes, God knows how good they can be with him. They've got the running backs. They might well lead for Evan Stewart. That could be interesting.
Bill, watching a little bit some of the other bowl games, if I said, hey, man, you get stock for next year and you can take – and I'm not going to give you Alabama or Georgia's or even Texas coming to SEC, but you probably know where I'm going with this. You get stock, and next year you can only take one of these teams, and that's Ole Miss or Missouri. Who are you taking?
Ole Miss. This is the best Ole Miss team coming back in my memory. in my lifetime. I don't remember a more complete situation now that Dart has confirmed he's coming back, which figured he would. They've got a fantastic running back in Junkins. They're adding the 3 best defensive linemen on 3 teams throughout the South. And
they got our best linebacker.
Your linebacker, yes, at Arkansas. And their high school defensive line recruiting is the best that state's been, and I don't know when. 3 just immediate impact guys you can rotate at least. I don't know what – I think they're still trying to find out if there's an offensive lineman or 2 in the portal. If there's an area where maybe they could use some shoring up, that might be it. This is the best Ole Miss team I can recall, on paper.
Good enough to give Georgia a run for them. And that's the thing they couldn't do. I mean, they were great this year. They couldn't beat the 2 best in the league. Is this the year maybe? I mean, who knows what these teams look like at some point. But, you're talking in ways that nobody has talked about Ole Miss ever.
Ever. And we weren't around for Johnny Vaught. That'd be the last time. But make it a fair fight. Could they hold up to Georgia in the trenches for 60 minutes? That's tough, right? And Georgia's always going to be at the very top in the trenches. And Georgia's getting some good players in the portal at wide receiver. They get a super running back in the ATN kid who they're going to plug in. That's an upgraded running back for them. And they've got a potential high pick coming back at quarterback. You would still favor Georgia, but would that be a more fair fight? I think so.
Last thing, are there too many bowl games? Somebody earlier here had said, give them a nice ribbon, a little parting gift, just for having a nice season. I still think there's a place for bowl games that just fly under the radar for people when MAC plays the Sun Belt or Conference USA plays against the American Conference. I just wonder about the meaning of the bowls for Power 5 teams that don't make it to the playoff, because the group of 5 schools, I think these games mean a little bit more.
I have never been part of there are too many bowl games crowd. Now, do I watch every game with the emotion and the interest that I do the regular season? No. But I don't really care. If they tomorrow announce new rule, teams can play 2 bowl games. I mean, I wouldn't care. Play 2. It just doesn't matter to me. If I'm watching one of these games and I'm losing interest, well, so be it. I'll find another game. But I don't. As long as ESPN can sell confiscatory ad rates, there's going to be more games. It's simple math.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. I mean, Matt, have you seen some of these ideas, move the bowl games to the spring? You're like, no, they're not doing that. Nobody's playing bowl games in the spring.
No.
It's just, we got to look at them like kind of what Bill's saying. You look at them totally different, and it is a way for people to kind of, it almost is like your first spring game as far as an exhibition game, but you're getting to see some of the younger kids, and it's a chance for them to come up and earn that starting job.
Guys, Georgia's score was, 42-3 at halftime? Carson Beck didn't even come back out to play. Gunnar Stockton did. I love watching him.
Right.
So we'll leave it there. Happy New Year.
Okay,
Always
guys.
appreciate you coming
guys.
on with us on these Tuesdays.
Thanks, guys.
Happy New Year. Thanks, Bill.
Bill King, Nashville Sports Radio, with us each Tuesday on Halftime. So we hit the home stretch here. Open that McClarty Daniel hotline for you. 877-377-6963. Tyler says you give the edge to the team that cheats the most. I don't know how much cheating you can do right now. And I do wonder if Michigan had scouted Washington anyway back when Connor Stallions was still on the staff.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.